In this video, we'll discuss about different ways of understanding how to do integration. Now, what I mean by that particular statement is there are three different ways of solving an integration problem. All right. Now, actually speaking, there are multiple ways. Now, you guys are going to study three types. The first one is what we call as the substitution method. So, the first one is substitution. All right. The second one is what we call as partial fraction. Partial fraction. The third one is integration by parts. Now, all the three are very important, but what I would say is the substitution method is probably one of the most important ways of solving integration problems. The reason is it's a very general method. Now, partial fraction is a very specific method, like only in a particular type you can do partial fraction, not in everything. Parts is also general, like how we had product of two terms in derivatives, like u into v, remember? Likewise, if you have product of two functions, then what you are going to do, that is basically parts. Yeah. Now, substitution is very important. The reason why substitution is important because there are multiple problems which can be solved with the help of this substitution method. Yeah. Whenever we go under, whenever we solve the substitution, now if you look at the previous video, the first four problems we have already used substitution method. It's just that you are not familiar with the concept. Now you guys are going to understand. Now if you have seen the last video, you will have at least a glimpse of what substitution method is, right? Let's start with substitution method now. All right, see, in the substitution method, what we have is, suppose let's say you have a function f of x. All right, f of x dx, integral of this one. You might not be able to directly integrate this. So what we do is, we are going to take some x in terms of another function. All right. So like you can say x is equal to some function t. Now we differentiate, get in terms of dx and dt. That means you differentiate this with respect to t. You will get dx divided by dt is 1. Now we take the dt that side. So you are going to get dx is equal to dt. So we are going to substitute that and get the value. Fine. This is how we are going to do the substitution method. Now, direct method, like, just the explanation of the method may not be very useful because you won't be able to understand and relate it. Let me start with an example, a very simple example. All right. Let's say you have a value, say integration of, let's say 1 divided by, say x divided by x square plus 1 dx. Fine. This is your integral value. Now x divided by x square plus 1, it's very easy if you use substitution method. So what we are going to do is, we'll substitute x square plus 1. Okay, x square plus 1 as t. Fine. Now we need to do dx by dt, right? So differentiate this. So you'll get 2x into dx by dt is equal to 1. So 2x dx is equal to dt. Now look at the numerator. Numerator has x dx, correct? X dx is there in the numerator. But what do we got from this one? We got 2x dx, right? So if you need x dx, so what do we do? X dx is equal to half of dt, isn't it? Half dt. So what do you do? Substitute this one. So you will get integral of, now x dx is half dt divided by x square plus 1 is t. Now take the half outside, half integral of dt divided by t. This you can take it as log of t and you can solve it. Anyway, we are not solving the whole thing. What I'm trying to tell you is how do we do the substitution method? Fine. And the next question is why do we do substitution method? Is the next question. The reason why we use integration by substitution is some functions they cannot be reduced as what we can, for other different functions. Like for example, x by x square plus 1, like what you're seeing now, this cannot be reduced very easily, correct? That's why we use the substitution method in finding a much more simpler way. Okay, so the same function will be reduced into a simpler function. So this is what the whole point of doing integration by substitution method. Understood? Now, in the next one, we will see how to solve problems based on this substitution. Now, there are a lot of problems, and I want you guys to study these problems very well. Fine. In the next video, we'll start with problems.